And I remember the first time I sat down and did business coaching with a young man that said, hey, I got a W-2, I'm making $60,000 a year. I'm making $60,000 a year on the side with my job, with my business, and I'm trying to figure out how to grow my business, and I don't know how.
Oh my gosh.
I know, and I did this exercise with him. Dan Martell was actually on my podcast recently, and we were talking about time hacks. And but before I met Dan, I had this exercise with this gentleman where I said, okay, I want you to write down the top 10 activities you do. So he wrote down the 10 things he does in business. I said, now I want you to rate how much money you make when you do those activities. And then I want you to put how much time you put doing those activities. And very quickly, something organized where it's like, sounds like you make all your money doing this one thing. Mm-hmm. Sounds like you waste all your time doing these other 9 things. I said, it's really simple. You're not allowed to do these 9 things. And he looked at me and he said, why? I said, because 90% of your income comes from 10% of your time. And right now you're working a full-time job and a full-time business. You got to figure out how to recapture your time and spend it intelligently. And that's the lesson you were getting, which is you got to take your lower value minutes, because we all have a finite bucket of minutes. You got to take your low value minutes and trade them for high value.
Yeah, I just did that recently. I do it now every quarter. So what I do is I just go on my whiteboard and I look at my calendar for the last 2 or 3 weeks and I go, where am I spending my most time? What's the perfect life for me, right? Time with my girls in the day, time with my wife, dates with my wife, all the things. I craft that out. I put those on the calendar first. But even then, I look at stuff and I go, man, I took a call I shouldn't have taken at a time I shouldn't have taken it.
Wow.
That's one of my biggest problem right now is I don't know how to say no.
Oh, wow.
Right? And I'm sure you've learned the skill. People will call me in an unplanned demeanor.
Yeah.
Like, hey, Pace, you got 5 minutes? And there's no such thing as a 5-minute phone call.
Anytime someone asks for 5 minutes, I'm like, okay, here we go.
So 45 minutes. You want 45 minutes because you want me to answer your question, solve your problem, but you want me to provide context and a story so it actually lands and sticks in your brain. 5 minutes is not going to do it. So let's put it on the calendar, and then they feel deflated, like, oh, I asked you. Pace is not helpful in the immediate moment. So then I feel bad.
Yeah.
So I start saying yes to everything, and I get caught in this trap.
Hey, sorry for pausing the video, but if you're wondering whether you're actually on track to retire, I've got a free calculator that will tell you the truth in about 60 seconds. Click below to try it.
A little over 4 years ago, my best friend died in a paragliding accident. And I had already lost 2 other close friends that year. And it was just a weird year, and I think God was trying to tell me something. And that was back when I was putting in, I'll call it too many hours. And I remember just feeling deeply inspired that the lesson I was supposed to get was that I had to act as if this was my last year of life. And if you knew it was your last year, how would you organize yourself differently? And I totally changed my entire calendar.
What'd you do?
I made weird rules. I made really weird rules. Like from the time I would wake up early to the time I go to bed late, my mind was always in control. I was always thinking, I was always creating, I was always trying to balance all the thoughts and ideas. And I created these new rules. I said, my brain's not allowed to turn on until 9 a.m. and my brain shuts off after 5 p.m. And that means that I don't think about business or any of my creations before 9 or after 5.
I mean, did that stick immediately or did you have to work on it?
Oh no, I actually had to lock my phone up in a vault and give it to my wife, because for the first 6 months, breaking the pattern was so hard. But now it's easy. But in the beginning, like my new pattern was I'd wake up at 4 a.m. I do I have this morning routine I really love. My wife does it with me. We're going to the gym together. We're meditating together. We're taking time together. We're reading books together. We're taking time with our family.
Just you and your wife.
Mm-hmm. And then 9 a.m. we get going on the normal day that ends at 5. And I basically said, I'm going to do my video stuff on Monday. I'm going to work from home on Tuesday and Thursday. And then Wednesday, that's my wife's and my day. And Friday's me and my kids.
Yeah, I saw you make a post about this recently, and I'm like, I got to get there.
So, well, here was the weird part is when my friend died, I said, Kris, you have all of this money. What do you need to give yourself permission to live your ideal life? And I realized, oh no. There was no next achievement. There was no next level of winning. There was no amount of money that was ever going to give me what was already available. All I had to do was seize it. And when I did, here's the weird thing. I said, well, if I'm going to work less, I don't want to make less. So I said, that's okay. Just change your standards. Every year I take a look at the 2 things that I do that make me the most money. And I say, I will only say yes to opportunities that are twice as valuable as my highest, which means that I have to do things that are worth 6 figures and 7 figures. And if it doesn't come along, I don't say yes, and I just enjoy having reclaimed time. And all those opportunities are out there. Or to make it a little bit more relatable to anyone listening, like maybe your highest value of time is $100 an hour. If you can recapture time and say, I won't touch anything unless it's 200 an hour, you're going to double your income if you do that. And next year, 200 becomes 400 and 400 becomes 1,000 and whatever.
Yeah, when I was a contractor, I would, if I could equate it to a small business, we just bought a business, The Plant Guy, on Instagram. If you guys go to Instagram, The Plant Guy, does about $5 million a year in revenue. And when I asked Matthew, who is 50% owner, we're 50% owner now, where are you spending your time? Same exact thing. Where does he make all his money?
Yep.
Posting on Instagram, generating leads, people coming to go, I want to buy that plant, I want to buy that thing, I want to buy that thing. But when he's stressed out and he's working
Look
on
at all
fulfilling,
the other stuff he does.
he goes 7 days without posting on Instagram.
Yep.
And it's very obvious for somebody on the outside. This is why you need mentors and people that will actually come in and go, you're missing this. Yeah. I told him this story. He goes, no, you don't understand. Everybody you're coaching is like, no, Kris, you don't understand. This is this very simple story. I'm in Puerto Rico at the airport looking for the American Airlines sign. I'm looking. Where the freak is the American Airlines sign? And this lady comes along. She goes, are you lost? And I go, yeah, I need to find American Airlines. She goes, look up. It was literally above my head.
Yeah.
In a way that you couldn't see it.
You just weren't going to see it.
You're too close to the problem.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're too close to the problem. When I was in my construction company, I needed John to tell me, you need something else to happen in your life, somebody to die to tell you what's going on. And it's minute, small things. I'm a long ways away from where you currently are. And
I actually don't think so. Like your company's on track this year for doing how much in revenue?
combined, we'll do, with all the companies I own, 9 companies, we'll do like $125 million in revenue.
Bro, that is like, at some point, there's no purpose in like keeping track of who did more, who did less, who's further along. Because the reality is everything at this point in your life that you want, you don't need money to buy it.
I don't.
Like if you think of what wealth really is to you.